Joining us right now is Tim Watson, our local advice attorney, who keeps us up to speed on all things law. And Tim, I understand that you're going to talk to us about arbitration, which is something different than litigation.
That's right. That's right. So arbitration is, like we were talking about last time I was here with Kelsey, mediation and arbitration are forms of alternative dispute resolution. So when you think about going in front of a jury, going in front of a judge, that's litigation. Arbitration, you're actually hiring somebody to resolve your dispute for you. Mediation, you hire somebody to help you resolve it.
Okay.
Arbitration, you hire somebody to actually make the decision.
Okay. So instead of going in front of a jury and having a jury decide their case, they just agree that one person will decide the case? And how is that different than having the judge decide the case?
Yeah, so it is a lot different than having a judge decide a case. And there's some good and some bad, I mean, depending on where you are. Arbitration is more expensive probably on the front end. The expenses are stacked up front. The cost of filing for arbitration is higher than the cost of filing a lawsuit, and you have to pay the arbitrator. And so you have to come up with a lot of money up front to do it. Arbitration also, you don't get to go in front of a jury. And juries are pretty important. They're built into our Constitution for a reason. You get in front of a group of your peers to make a decision. You don't get to do that. You get in front of one guy, and that guy gets to make the decision. And that's important because when a judge or a jury make a decision, if you disagree with what they do, you can appeal it. You can go up to the Court of Appeals and say they were wrong, and the Court of Appeals can either agree with you or disagree with you. Arbitrator, no. If an arbitrator gets it wrong, you're done. Doesn't matter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it just comes down to that one person, and that's
Comes down to that one person, and that's that.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that's the bad side of it. There are some good things about arbitration.
What's the upside?
Yeah, so the upside of arbitration is typically it's quicker. You get involved in jury litigation or any kind of a litigation, and it typically takes longer. You can be doing it for a couple of years. Arbitration is usually done in a few months. And in arbitration, while there are some stacked expenses on the front end, it is generally less expensive if you are paying your attorney an hourly rate. So if I'm involved in a medical malpractice case, I'm on a contingency. So my client isn't paying me while we're doing this. But typically the organization that we have filed the lawsuit against has hired an attorney that they're paying on an hourly rate. So it might be nice for them to get through this a little bit more quickly than having to go through the long course of litigation. So it's quicker. Over the long run, it can be less expensive. It's also private. If you file a lawsuit, it's public, everybody sees it. Arbitration, not so.
Well,
can't see what's going on.
In your experience, why would people prefer arbitration to litigation?
So I think mainly the reason people prefer arbitration is the expense and the speed and the privacy. And it's not normal for people to say, hey, instead of litigating, let's go arbitrate. It's typically because there's a contract. And people have said in their contract, we agree we're going to arbitrate instead of go and litigate. So often you have to. But that's hard to know because sometimes these arbitration clauses, even though they're in the contract, aren't necessarily enforceable. And so if you are involved in the case and you want a lawsuit, you might be able to still have one, even though there's an arbitration clause.
That kind of leads into my next question. I was going to ask, if someone doesn't want to arbitrate, can they just file a lawsuit instead?
So sure they can, but they might get kicked out of court if the judge finds the arbitration clause enforceable. And so typically, that's a determination that is made before you file a lawsuit, and it's a great reason to go talk to an attorney.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So this is a great excuse, I guess, or a reason for someone to seek out a person like yourself, right?
Sure, especially for this kind of a situation, because arbitration is typically based on a contract. And contracts are worded in the way that they're worded because attorneys write them. And so if you're not an attorney and you don't have a law degree and you're not used to looking at contracts, it can be confusing.
It can be confusing even where to look to find that clause that you're describing. So what's the best way to reach out to you? How can people do that, Tim?
So my website is a great way to reach me, mgwfirm.com. And then there's my number, 479-521-9051. Give me a shout. Happy to talk.
Awesome. Tim, we always learn so much when you're here. We were just talking about we didn't really know what arbitration was. Now you've cleanly defined it. Yeah, there it is.
Now we all know.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you learned something too.